Good morning, church. It's an absolute pleasure to be back with you for a few weeks. I don't know if some of you remember, several years ago, 2 years ago, almost exactly, I came back for 3 days to take a test for my next pilot rating. The FAA had changed some regulations, and so it was determined I needed to come back and take this test before these changes took effect. So I took the written test and then waited some time, and now it's time to take the flight test. So that's what this trip is for, and we said, well, if I'm going to come back to do this flight test, we might as well take some time and decompress. So my family is here. They actually came before me. I'll be leaving in another week, next Monday, but it's been a pleasure to be with you here. So they've asked for me to share a little bit, and I'm absolutely happy to. And if any of you have any questions later, please, or want stories, please come see me, and I'll just share a few for now. When they asked me to speak, I was wondering what I would speak about, and three words came to me: grace, forgiveness, maybe just two. And how there is a lack of grace and forgiveness in the Congolese culture, almost everywhere, even amongst the Christians, for multiple reasons. But the end result is there is no grace and forgiveness. Just a mile from where we live, there was a public transport bus. The bus system is very poorly maintained, as with most anything there. The local language does not have a word for maintain. So when there's no word for it, it's hard to do it. And so anyway, a lot of things are in a state of disrepair, including the public transport system. There was this bus that broke down while driving, and in the process of coming to a stop, hit a pedestrian and killed him. And a mob formed very soon after, pulled the bus driver out and killed him as well, and then burned the bus and pushed it over a bridge. So they obviously did not show grace or forgiveness. There's very much a culture of blame and take action. Just recently, within the last 2 weeks, one of our friends witnessed a pedestrian hit again, and the driver fled. And this is not an isolated incident. It happens quite frequently. Being a pedestrian first, you're taking your life in your own hands with the way traffic goes. But the driver, in fear of retribution, left. And actually our embassy, the American embassy, encourages us to do the same. If there's ever an accident, get out, come to the embassy, and we'll deal with things later after the dust has settled. I tell you these things to tell you part of our mission is to show the love of God and the forgiveness of God and the grace of God. And we do that by enacting these things. I was privileged to take a trip with a local missionary who's a third-generation missionary. His grandfather grew up in Congo. His father grew up in Congo. He's grown up in Congo. His kids have grown up in Congo. So he is very understanding of the culture. And part of he's an evangelist, and the man would preach to a pig if he could get it to listen. It's absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I took him on a week-long missionary adventure. We were able to visit 4 villages that he had never been able to visit before. One of the other things he does is he trains local pastors, local preachers, local missionaries to go and establish churches. And so we were visiting villages that he had never been to before, that he had trained the preacher, the minister there, but had not been able to visit. And so part of it was for encouragement, part of it was 4 villages. And during the trip, I asked him, how long would this have taken you by foot or by moto? And he said at least, motorbike, sorry. He said at least 2 months, and we were able to do it in a week. One of the villages that we went to in the interior of the country is called Mbujimai, and there were 2 pastors there, 2 preachers that had been feuding over what I forget, but it was something rather silly, as most things are, I guess. And during the course of the evangelization and the teaching, it came to the attention of the missionary I was with that they had been feuding. And so we were able to sit down and talk with them, work through it. And before we left, they gave each other a hug and said, "I'm sorry, will you forgive me?" Which is huge, absolutely huge in this culture. One of the other things I would like to share, I'm so proud of my wife for doing this. She's not here, so I'll brag on her. Oh, no, there she is. Hi. uh, I mentioned the traffic accidents, and they happen frequently, and people flee. She was dropping our daughter off at her school, and someone ran into her vehicle. And Tasha looked back in the rearview mirror and saw that the driver of this vehicle was very, very much disturbed. She muttered some things in French that we knew what they meant, and she wasn't praying. Um, and the driver left her car, got out, and ran into the school, ran and hid. It didn't matter. She ran. And Tasha made sure all the kids were okay. It wasn't a huge impact. A little scrape, a little dent, nothing big. We call it Congo camouflage for our vehicles. It makes us blend in with all the other vehicles. Um, anyway, Tasha wrote a nice little note and said, "Don't worry about it. These things happen. It's an accident. You know, we're fine, and we hope you're fine. And have a nice day." And left the note on the vehicle and took the kids home and never thought a thing about it. Well, the next day, she went back, went inside to pick the kids up, and when she came back to the car, there was a note on the car and said, "Thank you so much for your note yesterday. I'm fine. I really appreciate your grace. Have a nice day." And so just demonstrating even these basic Christian tenets of grace and forgiveness is so necessary, and it's so fundamental here, but yet in countries like this and other countries all over the world, it's so necessary. And we face a very uphill battle with 15 million people or 10 million people on the size of Knox County. Uh, it's a huge battle, and one that we ask for your prayers for. A few other things that you can be in prayer for. The elections, as are coming up here, are also coming up in Congo. And the incumbent president has served his 2 terms, and it's not known at this point if he will step down or if he will try to change the constitution or what will happen. And so the tensions in Kinshasa have been very, very high for the past year, and we ask prayers for peace, and that God will make His will known to the government there, and that we can have a smooth transition to whatever happens next. And whatever happens next is we don't know. Because of these tensions, the customs and border agents have not been giving out visas for people to come in to the country. So a lot of the organizations that we fly for have not been able to bring their staff in. So we have not been flying much at all because there has been no one to fly. It's been a nice little break. We've been very, very, very busy for the past year, and so it's nice to get kind of a breather to relax and get caught up on some other things, cleaning up the hangar and getting other things in order. But the end result is it's not our flight hours that matter. It's the aid, it's the help, it's the love that we can help bring into the interior of the country. And there is a huge amount of suffering, a huge amount of poverty, a huge amount of any issue you can think of that we are not able to bring help into to help relieve. So we ask your prayers that the visas will open up. And also we have 2 new families that will be arriving, one in August and one in December, who cannot get their visas. And they have been preparing just as we had for several years with fundraising and then with language school. And they're currently stalled out in language school at the moment, waiting on visas with their small children. So we just ask your prayers for that. And we thank you so much for your support. Highland View has played a huge role in this ministry with us, in helping us do what we do. We could not do it without you, and the people of Congo are definitely better off because of you. And so on behalf of them, I thank you. And I guess I will. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone want to hear a quick story? If you can give me some prodding. Yeah.
You mean visas to enter the Congo?
Yes, visas to enter the Congo. Not the credit card. They will definitely not give the.
Neighboring countries.
Some of the neighboring countries are issuing visas, no problem. But there have been some political issues that have led to the restriction of giving out of visas to enter the Congo. Any others? Okay. Yes.
Typical temperature down there, because I always see pictures, with Ada dressed a certain way, so I'm always wondering like what it feels like temperature-wise.
What's the
Temperature.
Right now, it's actually cooler there than it is here. It's the dry season, and we won't see it. It started in the end of May, middle of June, and between the middle of June and about the middle of September, we will not see a drop of rain. And it's low 60s or so for the lows, and maybe low 80s, upper 70s for the highs. And we see people every day walking around in down ski jackets at 70 degrees. I don't know if any of you saw on Facebook, Ada was walking down the driveway at my mom and dad's house wearing a jacket. So we've kind of acclimated to the temperature over there. So it feels nice during the day, though. Yes?
What do you miss now about your time over there? What are your creature comforts that you're sad about not having?
What do I miss about the Congo?
Yes.
Fresh fruit. I bit into a banana here and about had to spit it out. Yeah, fruit is one, but there's to me it seems life here is a bit more one-dimensional. It's very predictable. We go to the store, we know what's going to be at the store. Where in the Congo, every day is very much an adventure, for better or for worse, and sometimes both in the same day. And so, yeah, we don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen. So it's very much it keeps you on your toes. Life is exciting. Yeah, again, for better or for worse. But it is that. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you all. We love you all, and again, please feel free to come by and give us a hug, and if there's a story you want to hear or something that you can ask, please do. Curtis.